Hello everyone, welcome to iExamB. Embrace the iExamB learning experience for 50% faster job preparation. The SEBI Legal Grade A vacancies have been announced for this year. The application window is already open and they will remain open till the 28th of November. There were certain queries that we have been receiving from students related to the experience that has been mentioned under eligibility, whether it is mandatory, can the freshers or students who have just cleared their LLB apply, if they are in the final year, can they apply, and what about the marks that has been mentioned that will be given for the experience at the interview stage. If any of these questions are troubling you, then don't forget to watch this video till the end. So let's begin and understand what exactly is the eligibility and what are the confusions, right? As I stated, the application window is currently open and they will remain open till the 28th of November. So please apply timely after understanding all the requirements, right? So let's discuss about the eligibility. What does the notification states? There are a total of 20 vacancies and the eligibility conditions for the education. I am not discussing the age eligibility. I am discussing all the queries related to the education and experience. So educational qualification, if you will see, this is mandatory, compulsory, ye chahiye, this is mandatory, iske bina aap apply nahi kar sakte, right? So the mandatory educational qualification states that you need to have a bachelor's degree in law from any recognized university or institute. That means you should have an LLB degree. Master's is not compulsory, only bachelor's will also do, right? So if you have anything above that, of course, that's not a problem. This is minimum educational qualification that you need to have a law degree, right? Now talking about experience. Okay, before I move on to experience, another clarification, there is no minimum marks criteria also, no minimum marks criteria. So very easy eligibility. If you have an LLB, a law degree at a bachelor's level, whatever your marks, if you have the degree, you are eligible, right? So let's move ahead. Desirable experience. The word here is desirable. It is not mandatory, right? So there's a difference. Desirable means if you have it, it will work in your favor, it will be considered good. If you don't have it, it will not work against you. That is the meaning of desirable. It does not mean that if you do not have experience, it is something that will go against you. It's just that if you have, it may help you. Okay, so it is desirable, right? So, and what is that desirable experience? 2 years post-qualification experience as an advocate, which can include working as an associate in any advocate's or solicitor's office or in any law firm, right? So if you have worked in any law firm, if you have worked as a law officer, then you that experience will be counted. Please note that they are stating that it is as advocate. That means you should have enrolled or registered yourself under the Advocates Act. That means you should be bar enrolled, right? Only then will your experience be taken, and it is 2 years experience. And till when this experience will be taken into account? Till the application date, 28th November. So this experience you should have got before the application window closes. Anything, you cannot say that interview is happening in March or March 2026, so my 2 years will get completed in Feb 2026, then you count it. No, it was when you are applying, that time you should have that 2 years experience, right? So I hope this is clarified. 1, 2 years experience. Second, you should have enrolled, bar enrollment should have been done. You should have registered under the Advocates Act to be eligible to be considering this experience. Third, and the most important, it is only desirable. When I am saying you need to be registered, again, to apply for this job, it is not mandatory to be enrolled. Okay, only when you are looking at your experience and that experience has to be considered, then you should have been enrolled, right? So I hope these points are very clear now. Going ahead, Summarizing, freshers can apply, less than 2 years experienced candidates can apply, more than 2 years experienced candidates can apply, enrolled bar enrolled students can apply, without bar enrolled students can apply. Okay, so all this I hope now clarifies your eligibility doubts. Now look at what about the experience marks that is mentioned in the notification. So at the interview stage, please notice this is related to the interview stage. Before this, you have to give phase 1 exam, you have to give phase 2 exam, then you reach the interview stage when you qualify the phase 2 exam. So at the interview stage, okay, the interview will have an overall weightage of 15% in your final selection, and at that time, okay, 25% weightage will be given to your post qualification experience, the 2 years experience that was mentioned here. This 2 years experience, this will be given a weightage and a benefit of up to 25% of the interview marks. Okay, so interview is of how much? 15 marks. This 15% weightage they take at 15 marks, right? So out of this 15 marks, 25% of that means 3.75 marks at the interview level can get you this benefit of 3.75 marks if you have the requisite 2 years experience post qualification after being enrolled as a advocate, right? If you are a fresher, what that means is that your interview is typically happening from 11.25 marks instead of 15 marks, right? Now this may look very scary and some students may get nervous. Now what should I do? What if I don't have this? Now I am losing. Okay, so to tell you, nothing like that happens. Freshers have qualified in the past, and I will show you how they have and why it is important that you focus on your preparation, right? So before I explain that, let's understand how your final marks calculation happens, right? Phase 1 we know is only qualifying in nature, right? So once you qualify, and anybody with minimum marks of 30 in paper 1, 40 in paper 2, and in aggregate 80 will move to phase 2. So this is a generic cutoff, right? Most important is how your phase 2 marks and then your final marks are calculated. So phase 2, you will see there are 2 papers, English descriptive and your legal paper, which is a combination of objective, 70% objective and 30% descriptive paper. The paper 1 has a 1/3 weightage and your paper 2 has a 2/3 weightage, which means the exam that you are giving of 200 marks, however, this will be scaled down to 100 by using these weights. Okay, let's look at example. Say for example, in paper 1, you got 50 marks out of 100. This will be scaled down by applying a 1/3 weightage to 16.67 marks. In paper 2, say for example, you got 75 marks out of 100. This will be scaled down to 50 marks by applying a weight of 2 by 3, right? So 75 into 2 by 3 will give you 50 marks, which means in total you have got 67.67 marks out of 100, right? So this is out of 100 you have got. Now will you qualify phase 2 and move to the interview stage? That will depend on what the cutoff has been that year, right? So if I look at the cutoffs of the last few years, let's focus on 2023 and 24 because these were the times when experience weightage in the interview was added, right? In 2023, the experience weight was for 1.5 marks. In 2024, it was 3.75 marks. And in 2025, also we know it is 3.75 marks, right? So experience weight was introduced in 2023, right? So now let's look at, will this person have qualified? If this person had given exam in 2023, he would have qualified phase 1 where the cutoff was 65.50. However, if this person was giving exam in 2024, he wouldn't have qualified because that time the cutoff was 71.33 marks, right? Now let's look at another scenario. What if a student got 60 marks in descriptive English? This would have meant 20 marks at the weighted total, and the student got 80 marks in your legal paper. This would have meant 53.33. In total, the student would have got 73.33 marks in phase 2. Would he have qualified? Yes, he would have qualified because your cutoff was 71.33, so you are 2 marks above that, so you would have qualified for the interview stage. Now what would have happened at the interview stage? Now in the interview stage, say for example the student, now we know this marks, now these have to be further, there is a weight that is given for the interview and for the phase 2 paper, right? So for the phase 2 paper, this will be brought down to 85%. That will mean 73.33 at 85 will convert to 62.33 marks. Now, if the student got 10 marks in the interview, right? Assuming he was a fresher, that means he is kind of got 10 out of 11.25. But of course, we will the final calculation does not matter that. If the student got 10 marks, he would have got 72.33 and would have qualified, given 2024 cutoff was 71.7. So basically, if with these marks student got anywhere above 9.3 marks, right, anything above 9.36 marks in the interview, this person would have qualified for the final selection also. Yes, so it is not necessary that only students getting more than 10 marks or 12-13 marks in interview are only qualifying. What this also means is that students who are not getting experience, who don't have experience or are freshers, need to work hard to ensure that their marks in phase 2 are comfortably higher for the final selection, so that their dependence on interview is reduced, right? So aiming for 60 marks, at least aiming for anywhere between 50 to 60 marks for your English, and above 80 marks is where you will be in a safe zone, right? Let's now understand, have freshers ever qualified? So let's look at data from 23 and 24, because these are the years, as I told you, where experience was given marks at the interview stage. Say iExamB has one of the highest selection rates in the SEBI legal exam. You can see we have been guiding since 2020, and there is a consistent increase in the percentage selections from iExamB year after year. In 2023, in 2024, out of 5 selections, 3 were from iExamB, and all 3 did not qualify for the experience marks, right? No, none of the 3 did. We have success stories of 2 of them on our channel. You can go and listen to them. First one is of Umang. He had experience of 1 year. However, it was less than 2 years, so he did not get much benefit of that in the interview marks. Second was Sunidhi, and Sunidhi was a fresher. She had no experience and she cleared the 2024 exam. Talking about 2023, when there were 25 vacancies, 12 selections were from iExamB, and it was a mix of experienced and non-experienced students. There are I am taking example of these 4 success stories that are there on our YouTube channel. Among this, Prerna has had only 5 months of experience, right? So she did not qualify for the marks. Then this is not 5 months. This is 1.5 years experience. So Umang had 1.5 years of experience. However, he did not get the benefit of this experience because he had not registered as an advocate. He had not enrolled with the bar. So because of that reason, his experience was not counted, right? So he also qualified despite not getting the benefit of the experience. Raghav was a fresher. Sorry, this has been interchanged. So this is not 5 months. Here, Umang had 1.5 years, but no bar enrollment. And Raghav was a fresher. Again, he got selected. And Mrinal was also a fresher and he got selected, right? So yes, freshers do get selected. What is important? They strategize very, very well and work very, very hard to ensure they are getting very good marks in their phase 2, especially their legal paper. They also do not neglect their descriptive English paper, right? So your key is clearing the phase 2, and we are holding another workshop tomorrow at 12 p.m. where Indra ma'am, the legal expert, and myself, Prachi Agarwal, will come together to help you guide what should be your points, what is it that you should keep in mind, how can you prepare for your legal subject, and if you are looking to prepare for general and legal together, how you can do that, right? So if you are interested, you will find the link of the form to register for this in the description box. I hope this has clarified all your doubts and you will go ahead and apply if you are eligible and are interested in this particular vacancy at the grade A level by SEBI. If you have any other queries, you can reach out to us at 920-552-4028 or write us at hello@iexamb.com. Wishing you all the best.